Hello everyone, this is Angel Soriano and welcome to this segment of Great Dog People. So today we're doing a really cool story with a really cool lady. She's touched my heart. Her organization has touched my heart. I am sure that she's going to touch your heart as well. So we like some stories more than others when we do these, and this one's been fun all along, and it's going to, I'm sure, continue to be a fun story. So today's story is about the Pet Food Pantry of Oklahoma City, and sitting to my right here is Kim Pempin, who is the executive director, and more importantly, she's the founder of this organization. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is so cool.
You.
It's very cool to have you here. We've talked a bunch of times already about this, and anyway, it's about time that we do it official. So we have a lot of stuff to cover.
Yep.
So I just wanted to start with some basic stuff, and we'll take it from there,
Okay.
right? So the most basic question that a lot of people may not know about is, so what is the Pet Food Pantry of Oklahoma City? What does it do?
So, long story short, we provide free pet food and supplies to low-income seniors, those who are homeless, veterans, and now people who are in domestic violence shelters who have pets with them, who have been able to bring their pets out of a domestic violence situation. And so we provide that to them so that they can focus on their own essential needs, like their own food and medical supplies. And
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. So is there a certain qualification besides the person obviously needing it, but is there an income qualification for these folks?
Yes, there is an income qualification. They have to meet a certain requirement as a single person or as a household. And then they, on our senior side, they need to be 63 or older, and all their pets have to be spayed or neutered. The senior side and veterans, they get home deliveries. So every month we deliver to their homes. The veterans can be any age, obviously still low income.
So tell us a story as to when this was founded.
Okay.
And what drove you? I mean, you don't just wake up one day and say, let me start feeding dogs.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah, so June of 2010, prior to that, I've been involved in rescue, and still am for a very long time, and had been feeding street animals. You know, I had food in the back of my car, and, you know, I'd see somebody that looked hungry, and my husband always said, you're gonna get us killed because you forget there's other cars around. And which is not much different than a lot of us who are big animal advocates. So there was a local men's ministry down in Cowtown, still there, Grace Mission, and they had a resident dog, and I would go over and provide food for Avalanche. And then I just felt the presence of God ask me, you're doing this, why this could be bigger? Why don't you people who love animals, people who love, seniors, people who want to help the homeless. And so I called some friends and said, what do you think about this craziness? And they're like, well, I think we should do it. And so 2 weeks later, we had our state paperwork, and then the rest is kind of history. We had provided, I had a friend of mine in rescue that had gotten cases and cases and cases of wet dog food and said, do you know anybody that can use this? And I had been getting involved with Skyline Urban Ministry. And I said, yeah, I think I can probably find a home for that nice canned food. And so called Skyline Urban Ministry. And they said, yeah, we can use this. We have a senior program. And that was, they were feeding the seniors breakfast and lunch, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Still do. And they would play bingo. And if they wanted bingo, they would get to go to the food pantry or the clothing closet. When I took food, pet food down there, they would forego all that for themselves, and they would take the pet food as their bingo prize. So then we knew it was a real deal, that these people are going to give up whatever they have to take care of their pets. So Homeless Alliance is another group that we help. We provide them with pet food every week. And for them, they have a location where the pets can stay while their parents go inside and get services. So, but they were outside, they were in the rain, they were in the heat, whatever. And so we were able to, I worked with Dan for a couple of years, and finally he said, I'm ready, let's do it. And so we were able to help them get some kennels in there, big runs actually, 4x6x8 kennels in there. So now the dogs don't have to be tied up. They have a little roof over their head. They have their own place to hang out while their person goes inside and gets services. Again, that's what this is kind of all about, is everybody getting what they need. Through that, one of the big things that I was really interested in is people, and I won't just say women because it's not just women, it can be men, in domestic violence situations where they are fleeing from an abuser. They're able to take their children, but they're not able to take their pets. And many times that keeps somebody in a domestic violence situation because they're not going to leave that pet behind to get hurt. So we, through the Wilshire Foundation, we are partnering together to get these nice runs in at the women's domestic violence shelters. We started in Norman with the Women's Resource Center with a couple of kennels there. And then now the YWCA, we've put kennels there. They're getting ready to get those put up so that there's a place for those people to bring that pet, and then we're going to provide the pet food and supplies.
Yeah, so we got involved with the Pet Food Pantry, or they got involved with us probably about 4 or 5 months ago. We founded our pet committee, which is focusing on trying to break down the barrier of women coming into shelter who have pets. There is an intersection between domestic violence and animal abuse, and oftentimes we see that abusive partners will use threat of harm to animals as a way of controlling their partner. So what we've seen is a lot of women not wanting to come into shelter because they don't want to leave their pets behind to be harmed. So we decided to try to figure out a way to break that barrier down, and we formed this partnership with Kim, who was fabulous and was able to help get some kennels donated for us to have at our shelter so that we can not only bring in women to safety but also bring in their pets and make it a little bit easier.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So this is a nonprofit.
Nonprofit.
And please tell everybody, I know this already because we've talked about it, but tell everybody how much of the money goes to the cause, because that's pretty incredible.
So 95% goes straight to programs. We are all volunteers. We do have 2 part-time people that help us in our warehouse. The rest of us are all volunteers, including myself. And so every dollar that's donated, 95 cents of that, goes straight to pet food and supplies and everything that's needed, flea and tick medicine, everything that's needed for these pets that live with these people that we can help.
So I got to meet part of your board. I was so impressed with them.
They're a good group.
They're a phenomenal group, actually. So
Yeah.
you're blessed in so many different ways. Tell us about it, because you have a formal board of directors. Tell us a little bit about them and their involvement.
Okay.
Because here you guys were doing a bunch of repackaging and
Right.
you were working in the warehouse, and there they were. This is not just the board of directors that sits behind a desk,
Right.
or in a boardroom.
Right.
They were working.
They are very, very involved. We have definitely a working board. They come for bagging day. They come for distribution day. They go and talk to people at events. A lot of them do dual things. Some of them are baggers and they, are route drivers or whatever. So, yeah, they're very involved because they've got that passion as well. Okay. So we have a wonderful board and great volunteers.
So talk about this. I know you have deliveries. You had people. We were there when people were, dropping off truckloads and
Right.
carfuls
Right.
and anyway. So talk about the delivery piece of it. I know that there's a couple of times a month that you deliver to different locations. Tell me what those locations are.
Well, so for the seniors and the veteran program, we deliver straight to their home once a month. So the third Saturday of every month, they know my route driver is going to come, and that route driver is always the same route driver, so they get to know, both sides get to know each other. And then twice a month, my husband does a homeless outreach, and they just hand out dog and cat food, along with some other groups that are giving out people food and clothes and those kinds of things. So it's a great ministry down there. And then we also provide to Homeless Alliance all of the food for them to give out at their day shelter every day.
That's amazing. So you probably know this figure, but if not, can you estimate how much food do you go through in a given month or week? Or
We do about 9,000 pounds a month.
that's amazing.
That's a lot of food. It's a lot of food that, considering we start off in our garage, and then I took over my husband's workshop, which I know for you men is kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
And
that's a big deal.
he's a great man. That man of mine is a great man. And just kind of progressed from there.
He gave up his man cave.
He gave up his man cave. He did, and he was still working when all this started, and so he would give up his, evenings and weekends, and still does, and because he believes in it, and and when your wife starts something, you kind of go, okay, what do I need to do to help? So, but yeah, it's about 9,000 pounds a month. We provide between all the programs, we provide to about 650 animals a month. And so, yeah, it's about 9,000 pounds.
So while we were there last week, we noticed that they were rebagging. Basically, they were opening up all these bags and mixing them.
Right.
And then rebagging. Explain a little bit about the process and why you do that.
Okay. So when we first started, it was, I have a bag of dog chow, and I'm going to give it to somebody. And through some great mentors throughout the United States, I reached out to some other pet food pantry places. And someone suggested that we rebag it. And for a lot of reasons. One, I can take not so great food and mix that so that everybody gets a good balance for the most part. Two, because if it's in these 10-pound bags, then it's easy for our route drivers to just load into their cars. And then when you get to the senior citizens' homes, it's a little easier for them to manage as well. And so for me, basically, if you come to the warehouse, you'll see me, I might be picking up food and smelling it or looking at it and going, oh my God, just last weekend it was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful food. Then we get some that's not so beautiful.
Right.
But we know it feeds tummies, So if we mix all that, then we feel like we give everybody a good balance.
So I was very impressed with the warehouse, and that's also, somebody had a calling to help you out with that too when you were talking to me about this.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that, because that
So,
touched me.
yes. So, as I said, we started off in our garage, and then we moved into Mike's man cave, and then we moved into a couple of storage units. And then as we went along, we were able to get, there's an organization called the Rescue Bank, and they will provide through the food manufacturers, pet food manufacturers, we can purchase 1,000-pound pallets for about $100. So when those trucks were coming in, when we were being offered that, we couldn't turn that down. And so we, took a leap of faith and said, okay, we're going to move into a bigger warehouse so that we can get those pallets in. And then it just snowballed, and we got more clients and we were getting more food. And so we knew that we needed to get a bigger warehouse space. And so I went through this whole going around the city, looking for warehouse space. All I want to do is feed dogs and cats. I don't want to have to do all that stuff. And so we kind of settled on a place, and a gentleman contacted me and said, I would like to know more about your financial situation, more about what you do. And we talked about that because, all of our books are open. And we talked about that, and he said, what are your needs? I said, well, we're kind of looking for some warehouse space. And he said, well, I probably got some warehouse space we might look at. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to go through this again, looking again, but okay. So he wanted to meet myself and my husband, and so we met. The location was perfect because it would be centrally located for our route drivers, our volunteers, all the way across. And so my husband and I pulled up early, and a lot of women like the diamonds and all that stuff, and I'm like loving this warehouse. I'm like, Mike, there's doors for our route drivers, and there's it's all one big open space, and I was so excited. Can this be? And so this gentleman pulled up and introduced himself, and you could tell he was making sure that we were, on the up and up and what we were really doing. And so finally he said, well, I would like to lease this to you. And he had a piece of paper, and he handed me this small piece of paper and said, I will lease it to you for the first year for this amount a month. And then, if you'll just lease from me after that for the regular price. And so I looked at that piece of paper, and it was $200 a month, which was less than we were paying at some storage facility that we'd been in before. And I just jumped up and hugged him, and I said, you're the Easter Bunny, and you're, Santa Claus, and you're my guardian angel. And so that's kind of where everything led to have this amazing man who believed in what we were doing and continues to believe in what we're doing. He went on to, the next year came around, let's just keep going. And, so we could not have done what we have done without his help, because he opened that up for us to grow into what we are today.
So how can people help? In which way? Financial, food?
Yes.
Like obviously saw trucks being delivering food that day, so
yes.
That's an option.
Mm-hmm. We have a lot of donation sites, and they're all listed on our warehouse on our website, where they can go drop off food. They can drop off litter, beds, anything that they want to push forward.
So they can go to the website, look at all the locations, find one near their place, and go drop off
and
some
drop
food.
that off.
Good.
Or they can, email me at the Pantry. They can call, whatever, and we can help them that way. For us, because we can buy this food for so cheap, their money's going to go further. Because we can buy this 1,000 pounds for $100.
That's amazing.
We can buy it a lot cheaper than they buy it at retail. But I always tell everybody, everything's needed. Whether you donate money or you donate food or you donate litter or beds, or at this time I always ask everybody, go get the cheap fleece blankets, donate those, because then I push that down to the homeless. And they, they're able to cover themselves up and cover their animals up. And donating food, money, volunteering. We have 28 route drivers that come every month to go help deliver this food. There's, we need people that help in the warehouse, bagging and going through donations. And so there's all kinds of ways to get plugged in. Just depends on what your comfort level is. We'll find something that meets your comfort level.
Right.
And get you plugged in.
That's great.
Yeah. So there's a need for everybody.
So Kim, what would you like to say or thank?
I think the biggest thing that I want people to understand is, and I get it, because at first I was kind of like, well, it's just pet food. But after this long, what we realize is that if we provide them pet food and supplies, then that frees up their money to buy their own food, to buy medical needs, to pay rent. You know, some of these people, they make $500 a month. I don't get that. I don't get how they live. I also want people to understand that you can never underestimate that power of the relationship between a companion animal and their person. And you know, it'd be real easy to say, well, they can't take care of themselves, so why should they have a companion? Most of these people don't either have family that they don't speak with, or they don't have family at all. And little Sophie that's sitting on the couch with them, that's their family. Thank you, Angel.
Thank you. This is fun.
Yeah.
This is fun. So, everybody there, listen up, okay? You got to get involved. This has touched everybody here that has actually done something with this project. You know, anywhere from talking to you and talking to the volunteers to, you know, our producer. Everybody's been touched by this story. And it's interesting. We've known this group for so many years, but we haven't known this group. It's kind of interesting. As we go through this, we've gotten to know it a lot more. So, you can help the Pet Food Pantry of Oklahoma City in so many different ways. You can donate food, you can donate money, you can donate talent, right? Just go to their website, get involved, folks. It's changed our life. I hope this little video will give them a slight, you know, look or slight better look on your end of it, of what it is that these fine people do. So there you have it, friends. Thank you for tuning in today to this segment of Great Dog People.
Thank you.